Welcome back to Simply Moms podcast. As always, we're here to empower women, empower mothers, empower families. In the last episode, we talked about all the way from primary school to secondary school and how parents should be available for their children and present at school. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the curriculum and how different schools have different curriculums. Don't forget to subscribe to Simply Moms. So in terms of the curriculum and teaching, so how do they decide those subjects?
For curriculum in schools,
Yeah,
there is
so-
the mandatory curriculum that we have. So
yeah.
they are guided by the education or the Department of Education. So every school have to, in primary school and in secondary school mainly, will have to cover a certain amount of subject. So they are mandatory. We cannot alter it, but depending on school, some schools are more focused on some area of the curriculum more than others. Main one, as we say at the start, you have all your main skill, like math, English, science are essential. Then you have all the humanities, you have languages, then you have to have your PE, all the sports, you have your music. So they're really focused to have a student that can be rounded.
Yeah.
Okay, not just academic. To even say, I know that there is an element of academic, but we know that as well. And parents later will talk about it, but have to know what the kids are, not forcing them to go in a certain way because they feel like they've been there.
Yeah.
But really letting the opportunity of their kids to express themselves as they would like to. That was as well one of the very key in terms of the curriculum. They have a lot of choice here.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that about the system because the kids are exposed to all that and it's kind of within their school day as well.
Yeah.
So they do all the music, the art, the PE.
Yes.
They do it all within their school day.
And I think one of the things that is very important for parents, mainly parents from African background, so from our community, that we don't understand is the importance of the input of the parents before they access any school, even primary school.
Yeah.
What we find out is, and from the different studies as well, research that I did before, is that sometimes how children do not read well, not because they don't know how to read, it's because they're not exposed to books. Parents, even if you just arrive going to the local library, there is reading part, so having very, very important. Even if you have books that you bring from back home, or even if it's in our own language, they need to be exposed to literacy very quickly, because that's what then will impact how they will develop later on, and how well they will be doing. Is something that we don't advertise a lot in our community. To read to you, tell them story. We had our parents back home who tell us story.
Yes.
Like how many times my mom sat us around to give us, to bring the imagination.
Yes.
And like talking about story about alligator, about like having those rhythm and everything. And we have beautiful story in Africa. We have a lot of beautiful, but we don't share it. We don't
need to
share it
with our children so they develop that.
They develop their imaginative mindset, and they develop their language as well.
Yeah.
As often they become limited in terms of their vocabulary, and they just remain on the school, like the school, what they have to read at school, but it's not enough.
I think some schools encourage this. They have like a reader that's in primary school. They tell the reader which they send home. The kids read 3 times a week or things like that. But we can do better than that.
I had just as an anecdote, I had a new year 7 coming to my current school.
Yeah.
And he found me in the day and he approached me. So he's a student from African heritage. So he approached me often because he see myself as somebody that he can relate to. So he approached me because he said to me that he didn't want to go to his special reading time. And I asked him why, and he said, because I never have to read and I don't want to read. And I said, this is the reason why they put you in that special reading program.
Okay.
And I'm sure that his parents are not aware, because when you come to secondary school, there's lots of things that they put into place, or as well lots of area that they will kind of box children around, agree or disagree, but that is the system, that the parents are not informed, like what set your child will be sitting in terms of what, which will be what classroom he will have. Often they will keep them on the same. That will be what targets, that means what they expect him to do. That sometimes will as well tell if the teacher will challenge your child or will kind of refrain his ability. So there's quite a lot of little thing. And that boy was saying to me, why should I go and read? And I asked him, have you ever read a book at home? And he was like, no, I don't have to read. I'm just playing or talking with my parents or everything. And I said to him, why you don't read? Why do you don't ask your parents to read even a story about your family? Or they say, because they don't have the time. And it's and he's making that time for your child, even when they're little, and keeping them entertained, having the order to read if you have other children as well, other siblings, to read together. There's a lot of different things that they can do to support, and that will really make a massive difference.
Wow. There is also the library. The library is free. It's free. You can get a free pass for the library. So if you have a library near you, I'm sure you will have a library near you. So you just go in there and then get a pass. It's free. They ask you for a passport photo, and then you put it on the card, so you can come in the library however many times you want. No one's gonna chase you away. You can borrow books as well, as long as you give them back.
And you can there is as well storytelling, and the library are more and more diverse, so they don't only have books in English. They have books in different languages. They try to really also, if you want books in different, even they have in Yoruba or any other, even French, Spanish, Chinese. So they really tend to bring words to the family and to you. There's people who come around and read. The library have put into place a lot of different activity that you can do with children, and that is a very good way for you to as well give back to the community and be part of that community where you live in.
Wow. Remember, you're still watching Simply Mums podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Share, comment, and give us your view. So I wanted to ask about the sets. You mentioned something about sets. What does that mean? Because someone is like in set 1, set 2, set 3.
Okay.
Yeah, what's that?
The sets are your ability. The ability of a child to perform a certain way, and how does that ability will kind of transform and develop over time. You start in primary school. It's not just in secondary school. Secondary school are there as to evidence that kind of maturity and how the child develop academically. But it really start, and the foundation is the primary school. So when they come to primary school, they start reading, writing. So that's why I say the importance of reading and reading with your child or with your children. So at primary school, when they come all of them at the same kind of level, and they have a first test in end of key stage 1, which we say year 3. So they have reception year 1, year 2, and year 2, at the end of year 2, I think they do a first test, which is the end of yes. So it's not that one is the end of key stage 1.
Okay.
Is mainly reading and writing So reading, writing, a little bit of math as well, and the way that they speak. So there's different elements up to it. Then they move on to key stage 2, the second stage of primary school, which is from year 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then at the end of that year 6, they will have their SAT, which is their first national exam that is completed at the end of year 6 in May, usually, and where all the children in year 6 from the country, in Northern Ireland, in UK, or the United Kingdom, they will sit that exam, and is math, English, and sometimes some of them will have a science. So they will have some school that will be kind of overview of everybody in science, and sometimes in some of the humanity, I believe, as well. Not too sure for the humanity, but they will have on the main one, which is reading. Now they have emphasized on linguistic, which is grammar. And mathematics, you will have arithmetic and problem solving as well. So that, and this one, the result that they have will put your child in a certain set. So they will have, let's say, if the exam at the end of year 6, so no matter where your child is now, it's never too late, just like practice with him. But at the end of year 6, the exam is out of 110, for example, is 110 marks. If your child have less than 50, it will be below required
standard.
Yeah. If he's at 19, it will be at standard. So between 50 and 19, then you will have low, middle, high, but at standard. And if there will be above 105, I think, or 100 or 105, there will be above and high, and those one will be called the high achiever.
Okay.
So those grades or those will be then sent into the secondary school. Before that, the government is not the secondary school, but the government will say to us, if your child is a middle, this is the grade that he will obtain at the end of his secondary school. So they will kind of tell you how well he should be doing. So they will say, if we look on percentages, they will say, if your child is a 50% child, which is middle, at the end he should pass with a 50-60%. So it will be a 50 or 60% child. If he's a high achiever, they will say, oh, your child have 80 is among the is 80% or 90% plus on his mark, therefore he is considered as a high achiever. And in that case, they will make sure that they will give those information to the secondary school. So we always challenge and make sure that we give that opportunity for your child to always being like I say, challenge in class and achieve really well.
Is that the set 1?
That will be set 1, what they will call set 1. But if your child is at the bottom, they will say that child might not be able to achieve, will be below. And in that case, what often happen is there will be, now it tend to change a bit, but they will be put into a class that will have a lot of them at the same level, so it will be less challenge. Often there will be behavior, because there will be some students that will have a special need, and next to that, not that there will all be, some will have behavior as well, challenges. So your child will be in the middle of a group of students that don't really need to move forward, but will feel a challenge or will not like school because of that, or no will work on his full potential.
Wow. How does one go then from one set to another to improve? So for example,
if my child is in set 2 or set 3 or set 4 or whatever. I don't know how far down does the sets go?
So it depends on school. It depends on if it's a small school or a big school. Some schools don't do only set 1 and 2, the top one, and the rest of them are mixed.
Okay.
So in that case, can be okay, because your child will be with some good one as well. So,
Yes.
and some school do set 1, 2, and 3, or 4. I know some school do up to set 6. It all depend on the school, how big the school is, and as well what is the system. But it's good to know where is your child.
Yeah.
It's very good to know, because if you know that your child, like you say, is in the lower band for X reason,
Yeah.
you then as a parent can support that to push your child to move up,
Yeah.
and they will be moving up. It's not a stepping stone. The only time that a kid remain on this is if there is no improvement academically, and if the parents are not present. So really that's what. And communicating with the kid can be difficult because they don't know it neither. So really asking the school the right question is what class is. A lot of the school do mixed ability, which is good. However, helping your child to achieve the best all the time is not being at the top, but achieve the best. Being very support. Look at the assessment. We all school have assessment calendar. Look how well he did. Ask the school, secondary school is possible, primary school sometimes is possible as well. Ask them, can I have a copy, or can I have the book of the exam? Can I just have, because some school keep the books, so parents don't know what the child are doing. So you don't know what they study, what area. So if they have an exam, say to your child, can you bring the paper back so I can look with you? And it's not, English is just a language. That means if you remove the language barrier, a lot of parents might think, oh, I don't speak English, I mean I can't help. That is a very wrong attitude. Because if we remove the language, they can always help, because parents been through schooling or be through education.
Like even for mathematics.
Yes.
Mathematics is the same
It's
everywhere.
the same.
Physics, chemistry, it's the same. Even if it's in France, is it the same?
It's the same.
It's the same,
So
because it's all these formulas. It's all the same.
Everything that is the same, and the most important as well is to teach the kids to learn. It's not to tell them what to learn. That is the school business. To help them to know how to learn, like how you used to do your homework. Like say, oh, my dad used to sit me, or I used to write things on a paper, or I used to have my brother to like test me. Just all those quality of strategy that the parents have that they need to then support with the children. Just to say to you, yes, speak to your kids, say to them, what are you doing? They might say to you, oh, I'm doing poetry in English, I don't understand anything. And you say, okay, bring me your poetry. Okay, what do you, and having the question, what it look like, what is it about, talk to me. If the kids can, if your child can teach you, that means they're learning.
They've understood.
They understand it. So have your children to teach you what they are doing at school. Ask them question,
and then they'll be able to
memorize it and go back at school, and then put it into to remember. Oh, I say that to my mom, or my sister asked me this, and this is, and then. If they don't know something, say, that's all right. Go and ask your teacher. Exactly that question. Write down the question and go ask your teacher. And come back to me and say what, and we discuss it.
That's very, very good advice right there. I think I've started as well, because like when they've become very serious, so I've started with all, the emailing and calling the school to find out like what's happening. And they say, oh, every Monday they have a test of this, so that means on the weekend we have to get him ready for the test which is coming on Monday. You have to ask him the questions, because they give them these books So at what point, because you said year 9, that's when they choose the options, and then that is getting ready for year 11 for the GCSE.
Yeah.
So at what point should the parents become very serious with the preparation? Or start from year 7?
As soon as they're in exam classes. I always say as soon as they're in the exam classes. The earlier they prepare them, the better the better they will be.
Yeah.
So we always say that we seen the student or the children that are from year 7, they are quite very conscientious. They know how to work. They know how to organize themselves. Those students will do well on the long term because the GCSE, so the exam that they have at the end of year 11, is most of the subject, mainly academic subject, is linear. That means they learn everything since year 7, and at the end of the 5 year, they have the end exam on every single thing. So if they are working consistently and they are reviewing the exam, they keep their books from year 7, year 8, year 9, because they're not always, we don't go back often to what we did in year 7. So it's like in math, we don't go back into doing our multiplication table. You don't. You're supposed to have assimilated how to multiply.
Yeah.
So when you go to your exam and you have hard calculation with addition, subtraction, fraction, they're not going to tell you it's because of your math timetable. So it's exactly the same. So from as soon as possible, I will say, anytime from even primary school. In primary school, if you can teach them just how to learn, how to really engage with the learning outside of school.
Yeah.
Because in school, they're going to give them different strategies. They're going to do it with the teacher, but at home will be different. Just like how to sit down for 10 minutes reading.
Yeah.
Or 10 minutes you do your homework in a quiet environment. Then you do that when you're in year 2. Then in year 3, you do 20 minutes in silence. Then in year 4. Then when they reach the year 6 exam with about an hour or 30 minutes, I think it's 30 minutes exam in silence, they can do it. But then they reach secondary school and they're going to find out that they have to stay an hour in total silence doing an exam. Then after an hour, so year 7 and year 8, and then year 9, they have to do 2 hours exam. So just those little skills.
So in year 9, they do 2 hours.
If they have, that can have, not yet, but they will have in year 9, they will have multiple exam in the same week.
Yeah.
That means that is emotionally draining for our kids, isn't it?
Yes.
If you know that on Monday, you have 5 periods a day, or some school 6 periods a day.
Yeah.
Out of those 6 subjects, you will have 3 exams, back to back, an hour. How will you sustain like concentration? How do you work to your best of your ability? Parents have to understand that they need to eat well, sleep well, drink during the day, have fun, like organize themselves so they know where to have those elements where they can leave their education on the side and have fun.
Yeah.
So all of that, they start building it as in year 9, but then when it comes to GCSE, it's only GCSE, so that means it's heavy content. Pace is faster, so the teacher don't have time to let you know about pick up your pen and write the date or bring your book. But teacher don't have time. I often say is make sure that you do your work, because like nobody is there to help you learn. Yes, year 10 is intense. It's really the pace start moving faster.
Yeah.
Then at the end, the parents sometimes only have like 1 or 2 reports in year 10.
Yes.
And they find out in year 10 that the kid is failing.
Yes.
And you wake up, you feel like you just wake up. What is happening? What happened to that year? But the pace is very, very fast. And year 10 is a difficult year because they are moving into, your children will be requested to move into maturity, a certain maturity that they haven't.
Yeah.
most of our children they haven't learned it yet. They take so much time to mature.
Yes.
Where other from year 7 and they have a nice and pace growing and maturity. That means when they come to year 10, they already know what they're doing. So that's why I say, as soon as possible, supporting your kids with, and you don't need to have a degree. You don't need to be going secondary school or having a diploma to support your child.
Wow. I'm learning lots of things right now. Prepare my child for GCSEs. It's coming up. So what about the tutoring? At what point does the tutoring start? Would you start at year 7 or still year 8, year 9? When does the tutoring start?
You have different level of tutoring and the purpose of it. So you have to know the purpose. If I talk about my children, I started tutoring very early. So my son started to tutoring in math and English mainly because different to some other country, even an African country, because I come from a French-speaking country. I wanted to make sure that he had the same level in English than he could have in French. I could teach him a lot in French. We could read in French, and which they did. But I wanted to make sure that it didn't build a gap in terms of the language. So depending on what is your level in language, and I wanted as well him to read. I started in my daughter starting in year 3. No, not in year 3. When she was 3 years old, she started tutoring, and my son was 5, nearly 6 at the time.
Yeah,
and my daughter was tutored all through her education, all the way up to year 10.
Yeah.
That is always about what and the why do you need that tutoring and how does it complement? Because for me, it was a matter of complement to complement what was happening in school already. And because of the system that I find in the school where my daughter was, it might be different in different school.
Yes.
They didn't have that much homework. And personally, I grew up with having homework every day, doing our homework every evening, at least an hour of homework, or staying at school to do some homework. So or extra reading or something. So I didn't find it in the system in the UK. Homework, or to be fair, the homework, there is no evidence academically and research-wise that homework makes difference. However, for me, what was making the difference is to teach them to work independently and with a purpose. So they had independent homework that they had to correct themselves and lots of repetition. That was my purpose for them to go on to tutoring. There is different. Some parents choose tutoring to support with the academic side because they feel like their child are not doing as well as they wanted.
Yes.
And in that case, at a certain point, or either prior to the exam, before year 6, because there is the SAT and they want the children to do really well on the in the SAT. So in year 6. In year 5 or in year 4, they will put a tutoring into place. So they already prepare them to excel or to do as well as they can be in the end of primary school year.
So as a teacher, when you spot a child who is struggling, how do you help them?
So there is every children in the classroom must work to the best of their ability. That don't mean that they have to all do the same. First, you have to understand that the teacher in the classroom learn to adapt the lesson to every kid. Not in the sense that they're going to do 10 or 100 different lessons, but in the lesson, there will be a challenge for those who are working on higher, mainly for mixed ability. It is different in different schools, but this is what we are teaching the new teachers when they come, is they have to ensure that they are offering the best teaching quality for every student. So a student that is not as fast or who need extra support will obtain a support in a form of the lesson. It can be that the teacher will set a one-to-one of 2 minutes to explain to him. It can be that there will be intervention outside of the classroom. Sometimes the parents are aware, sometimes no. So it's always good to ask the question to the school, because it's really good if the school decided that, like I said earlier about that year 7 child that didn't want to go to reading, parents might not be aware. But if the parents know that just by reading an extra 10 minutes more, or an hour more in school, they might say the parents, "Oh, every evening you read to me for 10 minutes." That if the parents are aware. So there's different form of intervention. So you have in-class intervention by teachers, or you have like a set intervention by other professionals within the school or within the education system. It all depends on the support that the kids need in every area. So that means it's not just because a child is struggling, but it's as well because a child is a high achiever. One thing that I would say is, as it's so easy for us to see when a child is struggling, but it's not easy to see when a child is on a higher performance.
Okay.
And why is that?
Because we trust the school to do what they have to do if a child is. In my experience, there are some elements where, mainly for our community, that if a child from African or Caribbean background is high performance, they're not going to challenge them to achieve as well. They would just say he's a good kid, he's doing everything that you have to do as well. If from other background, you will see that they will offer that child to go to theatre, they will offer that child to read and to speak more out loud, to do oracy. They will build up the quality of a leader to push that child, to challenge that child, but not to our child. And our children being respectful toward order, they will not request it. I remember that from my daughter, because they assessed my daughter wrongly because my son I needed extra support. They presumed that my daughter will need extra support, and their presumption was because we speak French, that means they don't know English, or they speak another language, that means they will have more time to understand. Where is the opposite? A person that speaks more than 2 languages, the polyglot who speak a lot of language, usually is highly intelligent.
Yes.
But the system do not recognize that. So when you come from a different country to the UK, and they want to make you aware that your child will be going to those low set classes, or that your child is unable, it's just a matter of the language. It's not a matter of the ability. So you have, as a parent, to stand and say, no, children adapt very, very fast. So they learn very fast. So even if they don't speak English, in 3 months they will catch up. At 6 months they will become as fluent as their peer. So it's not a matter of the language. But they didn't want to push my daughter. I had to be involved as a parent, where we go back at the beginning when I say be present, communicate with the school, ask the question, a lot of questions, so that in any of the stages, you know that they have the best interest on your child.
That's a bit sad and also enlightening.
Because, like, why would they not push their child? But I think this is why we are having things like this on Simply Mom, so that parents out there, you need to know that if your child is doing well, you push them. Push them. Don't wait for the school to push them for you.
Exactly.
Push them, put in the work, email the school, call the school. Like, don't sit back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from that. So what about children who have learning difficulties?
So in primary school, they will identify that if your child have a certain difficulty in terms of his learning, like if he find it difficult to read, to write, to understand, they will identify, and the first thing they will always is put into place some support. Like I say at the beginning, we have to, as teachers, they have to support everybody. But then there is another stages that say that they might need to go bring some professional from the outside. Is a bit tricky because research have proved that our children, black children, are highly likely to be identified as having a special need, which they don't need.
Which research is that?
We
need to identify that research, honestly.
It's just to say, like, as soon, because I don't know, there is a way where our child is ever, it's a misconception, mainly boys as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and all that because boys are, in general, not just our children, but they're just a little bit restless, and they're really quite they like discovery. They are quite very sociable very quickly. Well, a girl will tend to be quiet and be a little bit more setting herself very quickly in different environments. A girl is easier, but boy have this sense of amusement, and that can be misinterpreted sometimes. Usually, it catch up is mainly in primary school, so you will see that they will have some intervention, and the school will tend to support and place them on what we call a support register. That don't mean that they have a special educational need that is identified. Special educational needs require a very hard assessment. It is very long. I mean, the way that the school will do it is they need to prove that everything that we put into place, your child is not assessing and is not progressing.
So long in terms of how long is that?
It can be years. So it can be usually is years before a child can be identified as you have a certain need for external support that request that you have. If your child just joined a school in September from a different country and they say to you, "Oh, you have a need," that's not possible. You have to say no, because they need to assess it. It goes through a very thorough process. It's long, and you have to bring evidence. Like at least they say is a good. For my son, he went to 6 term, so it's 1 year is 3 term. So you can see it can be about 3 to 3 years, so that he have time to mature, because it can be everything. And some even go through primary school without being assessed with a special need, and then come to secondary school to continue with that process because they were making progress.
All right.
So, but when a special need really is that your child is in a school, or a child is in a school, but it cannot progress as well as his peer, as fast as his peer, and that then bring and you have a very big gap, who keep widening it. So that is why you will have a special need, and then you will have external intervention as well as in-class in school intervention. I mean, from the council, from the hospital, from the GP. So a lot of different practitioners will be involved in your child education.
I think there was a podcast that I saw where this boy or man, he had now grown up, and he said that his parents refused that he had ADHD.
Yes.
He said that the teachers talked to him. They told him that he has ADHD. I don't know how the system works, but they told him, and he told the parents, and the parents refused. They say, you don't have ADHD, you're fine. The boy struggled all throughout school until one day when this teacher put him through that program, and then he got help, but the parents refused.
And I think that all come to a lack of knowledge from a parent's side, which is understandable. First, as parents, we really have someone to humble ourselves.
Yeah.
There's two ways. There is the knowledge of education and to educate ourselves on what is happening in the new context, in the new country that we come in.
Yes.
So it's not about our culture. So our culture is something which we proudly pass on to our children. But when they come out of your house, it's not the culture anymore.
Yes.
It's the British culture.
Yes.
So they will go through a system that involves them, that they will need to have they will need to be assessed on some of the things. They will go through the process in terms of jobs, and as parents, we need to support them through that.
Yeah.
And I know that in our culture, and with my husband, he say, for example, he never see in his lifetime, he never see a special needs. He don't remember in his area where he was living in Africa having a special needs kids. Like autistic, or he probably see they had one person that was blind.
Yeah.
In a full area, so that your contact with special need will be triggered according to what your experience in life will be. But that don't to have as well to not think because your child is acting differently or have been diagnosed with something is bad. Is not bad. It's an area that they say they're just going to read. It's like if you go to, they say you can't see properly. You need glasses. You're not gonna refuse because nobody in your family have glasses. You will go to the optician and go and have all the exam, and you'll get your glasses.
Yeah.
And it's the same with your child if they can't. If the school have highlighted that there is possibility that your child have, it don't cost the parents nothing to go through the process. And the worst thing that can happen is that it had nothing.
Exactly.
That the assessment said at the end that is fine, and you can say, you see, you're fine, we fine, everybody's fine. But if you have something, your child deserves the support that is available here.
Yeah.
That we don't have available in different countries as well.
Yeah, and it's free as well, isn't it?
It's free,
It's
and as well
children up to 18 years.
18, yeah. But remember that the early is because of the amount of children with additional needs. The list is starting going longer and longer, and if you refuse it in primary school mainly, it don't become a priority.
Yeah.
If you blind yourself saying, no, my child is fine, you don't become a priority. That means your child might do all his education, fighting, struggling with his progress, his learning, and not achieving as well as he could have been, just because he didn't access those primary support as a very young age. Everything, primary school is really a foundation if you have any child in primary school. Secondary school, it become hard.
Yeah.
Still be a little bit of fighting, but it become hard. Then when they go to university, there is a form of support, but that then become individual kind of process. So that means your child by himself, like he don't have any more of your support. So like probably the young man that you heard, he had to go through that by himself.
Yeah.
Very difficult,
Yeah.
because
He said it was very hard.
because your parents rejected, and you find the person will find themselves isolated, and the parent will never be educated onto it.
Yeah. Christian moms out there, it's okay. I don't know how many times I have to say this because we are now going to do a project about it. It's okay to let that child be diagonized. It's okay. Like, it's not here. There is no stigma about it. I know I don't want you to like just accept it. Go through the process and see if it's going to help your child to to get the support that they need.
I would say,
But also pray. Pray on top of that. I'm not saying don't pray. Yes, pray, but also accept the help that is there for that child. Because I've seen some children who have gone to like special schools.
Yeah.
And then they've been helped. They even like drop them and pick them.
Yes, I have experience of children in my nieces are autism.
Yeah.
They have to tell themselves that it's just a way of the child to see the world. It's nothing to do with the way they were born, where they were born, who is the parents, what is their heritage, what they drink, what they eat. Is nothing to do. It's just the way that the child see the world. So it is their full identity. So if the parents, if you're praying against it, it's like you're praying against that birth, like their identity, their well-being, the fact that they are here. As strong believers, we know that there is a purpose for everything in life. So if that child is there to educate the parents on a different way to see the world, the parents have to walk with that child.
Yeah.
And we have to pray that we are always going to be there supporting the well-being of the child. That is the main. We have to love our kids unconditionally.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't matter if the kids have ADHD or is dark brown or is light brown. We can't pick and choose. It's like, because we are Christian, we will say, oh, this kids is all that what they're saying is out of the devil or is something. No, it's not. God have made that kid perfect. Every kids are perfect.
Yeah.
It's up to us to love them well, so they can mature and accept who they are as person, and they're different than us. So as I think every parents do that, where they have we project ourselves to our kids.
Yeah.
So if our kids are not doing as well as we do, we feel like we are failing. Any faith, because I do believe, and I had that discussion with other faiths as well. Educate. God say my people are dying because of a lack of knowledge.
That's true.
It's not the kids that are dying, it's our people, it's us who are dying for a lack of knowledge. So it's very important that you get the words and that you apply it.
Yeah.
If your child have a need, or you think that the child have a need, have the support and build on your own knowledge to support you and love you.
And then we move on to GCSE pathways, like post-GCSE. When the kids have finished their GCSE, what are the options?
What is happening when they finish secondary school?
Yes,
so they become a little bit more mature. We expect them at the end of GCSE, when they have that end of secondary school exam, a national exam. So the GCSE is a national exam.
Yeah.
They have certain grade. So now we move away. So they have grade that is from 1 to 9 for each of the subject that your child will have picked up. 1 being the lower, 4 being a lower pass, what they call the minimum pass, and then a 5 is a solid pass. And then 6 and above is the 6 and above are very good grade, 9 being the top grade. So in every of the subject that they will pass, they will be given a certificate to say where they are. to know depending on what you want to do, you need to have the minimum that they require in post 16, post GCSE, is that you have 5 out of the 9 subjects that they will choose. So at the GCSE, when you do the option that we were talking earlier, they will have those 3 mandatory, or sometimes 5 if we talk the humanity and language, which will be 5, and the option is only 3.
Yeah.
Okay, depending on, but average is 3 options, so 3 or 4 options, depending if they had combined science or triple science. So those options, out of those 9 options, 9 GCSE being the minimum of GCSE that a student should be doing, 5 of them need to have a pass, or at least a minimum
Of the
pass
9.
of the 9. Then they will easily, I would say easily, that means their first choice, they will access any of the further subject that they want to do, either at college or staying in the 6th form. So that is first where we have to look at is what are the 5 that they can have for minimum. Now college are much more as a professional setting. So the college, you will have some and A-level is more academic driven. You have some college as well, lots of college who do A-level to prepare them for university. You need to go through the path of A-level if you need to access the university, because those A-level will give you some grade that is your entry requirement at university.
Okay.
Colleges will do some A-level and some as well vocational courses. So vocational courses is they will build your child to have some professional skill that allow them to work in some areas, so like electrician. So they will build on having those certification, or you will have in building, you will have hairdresser. There is lots of courses, social care, that will allow a child that do not need to go to academic pathway to still being able to access the area that they would like to do and start working for early. So you have that option. There is the apprenticeship option as well, where at the end of the GCSE they can find an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship as is a pay, is like a job, but there will be pay. There will be pay quite not lot of money. It's quite low, so don't aim to say, oh, I want my child to earn money, that's why he's doing apprenticeship. Now, apprenticeship is just the practice, they have more practice, so they become more skilled while they're doing the job, and they get paid a little bit. Okay, so that can be an option. But apprenticeship being really popular, being very difficult to raise. So that means the apprenticeship that wanted at the beginning just a grade 4 are now looking to grade 5 and 6 because of their popularity. They want students that are more academic, so they have less to teach them and the course go faster. So
and that is after the GCSE.
After the GCSE. So apprenticeship, then you can find an apprenticeship at different level. But the first stepping stone, I would say, is the GCSE with a grade at 4. Okay. Then after, if you want to continue on academic pathway, so if you the parents often want their child to remain in the school because the school are offering a 6th form, have a 6th form setting, or they want their children to go to 6th form. In that case, they will have to aim to have at least a 6s. You know, when I say to you, out of the 9, you need to have 6. So for 5 of them, you need to aim to have 6.
Mainly all the 5 subjects, at least 5.
Math, English, science. and at least the subject that they want to study. Let's say if they want to have a business, they do business study at uni in sixth form, they have to aim to have had a 5 or 6 at least on that study. If they want to do history, for study history as a specialism at A level, they need to have a 6 at least during the GCSE history. So they cannot, if they haven't studied, depending on what subject, but majority of the subject, if they haven't studied at GCSE, if it wasn't part of the option, they will not be able to take it at as A levels.
Okay.
Unless it is one of those academic subjects like history, psychology, sociology, that they can do a business. They don't need to have a GCSE in business to do business. Okay. That's what I just start when I say our kids need to be rounded, is make sure that you have the correct. So if they have, when they do the option in year 9, if they have math, English, science, a language and humanity, then we'll have more option at A levels. Yeah.
So can they go to A level when they have minimal passes? Or does also A level have
A level
standards?
Is standard. Most of the A level you will see they will start with requirement entry, and fairly, if you have lower than a 6, it will be the A level will be hard for you because it's academic driven. So you will have essay to write, you will have book to read. So if you are a 5 because you are your child had a 5 because he's able but he's not willing to study, just like he's an able child. We have all one of them who is just passing because he's intelligent, but he's not really
willing to put in the work.
That will be a learning curve. That will be difficult for him. He still can do it, but it will be a learning curve where he will work hard or it will be difficult. A level are difficult. But if your child have a 6, 7, 8, and that will not, because he already have the skill and the ability to work on that level.
So what is your advice to those parents who have kids who are very academic?
My advice is always to know your child, because your child can be very academic, but
or maybe the ones who are not very academic. I guess.
No, it's always
it can be academic or maybe not academic, and they just want to do practical skills and things like that.
My advice, I will say, is search around what your child wants to do and work backward. So let's say that we all want our kids to go to university. We all have very high expectation. So let's say that we know that our kids are joining our expectation, want to go to uni or have an idea of uni.
Yeah.
Not all uni have the same value. So just giving you a hint, research Russell Group University.
Yeah.
Russell Group University are those universities that are out of the top 100 university best ranking in the world. 60 of them are in the UK. So, and they are the top one. So obviously we have Oxford and Cambridge, but you have other ones. You have Birmingham University, you have Warwick University. So there is the degree have a high value on the market. I mean, a person that come out of Warwick University with a degree in biocosmetic or in even in business, and somebody that come from a university that is not ranked with the same degree, work the 3, will have a different outcome. So be smart first and search what you want your child to do, or talk with your child and start looking at what do they want to do in the future. They might not have an idea, and it's always good to start going to, there is a lot of open days, forum. You have those professional forum that is on NAC every November for adult. Even if it's for adult, just go innovation or IT forum. Go around, talk to people, go and have an interest on what is the market today.
Yeah.
Go to those job forums and say, oh, look at the different opportunity that you have. Because sometimes our kids have expectation, but it's not really needed in the market today, or there is a lot of competition on the market, or very poor pace. So it's good to start early. Have them. That's the fact that I always say. Have a lot of interest. Take kids to gallery. Take kids to the opera. Take kids look at how they react. Take kids to see movies. Go to different culture and observe how your kids develop and make contacts, because as well that will help you in the future. So I always advise parents to start early, search well, and the more you are educated on what is out there and the path, the better and the more successful the children will be.
Yeah, like recently I was talking to a mom whose daughter's gone to university, but I think she started quite early. She wanted to be a lawyer. At school she was attending, they'll send you those emails about professional board or whatever, and then she was attending all that. Then she went to Warwick to attend all those workshops, and then she ended up getting into a university. She wanted to go to Oxford first, but then she realized there was UCL. There was a part where you're going to work and also study, but it was not like an apprenticeship, but it's proper university. I was like, oh, I didn't know about this. I'm not sure if the schools tell parents about these things. Do they tell them about these workshops?
In sixth form, when I talk about the Russell Group, for example, sixth form, we talk to the student about the opportunity, about those big school.
Yeah.
And depending on different school, they will offer different program, but there is always throughout, it's not just in sixth form, but from year 7, year 8, they have opportunity to go to those university. They always see what's happening. To see what is a lecturer, to always have a kind of a first contact with further study. Even in year 7 when they don't know what to do, but we tend to go and they do some workshop in different area. So they will have opportunity, or sixth form, they have even more opportunity in sixth form because they do placement, they go to the university, and they are supporting throughout. If you want to go to one of the top school, those Russell Group, you start straight away in year 12, because it will depend on not just what you study, but what do you do outside of school. So like volunteering, working, helping the community, all that. That's why when I say to parents, it's good to support right now, from as young as you can, have your kids to be well-rounded, to be not just like paying a tutor for them to be the top, because they can have 3A, but they're not having anything else. Where some of others do Duke of Edinburgh, which is like a course.
Yeah, I've heard that one. What age does that start?
They do any age, usually 8 and 9. In my school, we do it in year 8 and 9.
The Duke of Edinburgh award.
So they do it, and they have different levels. So you have you have bronze, you have different, and you do it for different reasons. So that some school do it, some other school don't. But that is like other program that you can do.
And is that like signed off by, and who signs that off?
They're gonna go through a program. So depending on what is the area of interest. Like I have a student that is love languages. So she's doing French, but she wanted to put it into learning the language as part of her Duke at Edinburgh. That means she have to do elements of the language outside of the classroom. So she's in year 9, but she will be helping with the year 7. So she will be part of trips. She will go with the sixth former. So she will engage in different areas. So as much as I can, I engage her with different area of the language. She will help with Spanish.
So she helps the teacher.
Yes. So she will do different things to support her and understanding how language work and asking questions. She's helping us with the pen pal. Well, we have a pen pal in France. So she's helping with. So that is me. I would sign it off as part of her extra curriculum. So there's people who do music because they play an instrument. So they will do concerts. They will and they will be part of different orchestra outside of school. So it's mainly they really want the university want to see people that are able to support their community and work outside. That they are top academically, but they're as well top outside. So the way that they're going to build their CV, because they will have to provide a letter of motivation to those top school or even big university.
Yes.
They will have to prove why do that university will want them and not just the grade.
Yeah.
Because they will competing with
thousands of other students.
People who are from private school who do all of that.
Yes.
So,
Interesting. But there's also apprenticeships after A-levels.
Of course, yeah.
So you say they also apply for that during the same time that they apply for university.
Yes.
Okay. And then what to expect at university?
Often the apprenticeship after A-level will lead to them to obtain some certificate or diploma or even degree or master within an element of what they wanted the apprenticeship to be. So it's in terms of they're going to be working, but because of the level, they will be working at already what they call level 3. So when they are going to start applying for apprenticeship or at the end of their A-level, they will ask them what level they want. So it can be apprenticeship in accounting, for example, and they will say, do you want a level 1, 2, being 1 being a GCSE level, 3 being a A-level. So that means the level will determine where will they start university-wise, because then they can, within the apprenticeship, they can start getting some course from university as well. Lots of university that they can apply with will have some apprenticeship. Okay, they can as well offer some apprenticeship as well.
So at the end of the day, at the end of the apprenticeship, they get a degree.
A degree.
Yeah.
So as for the university that will go through the UCAS, so on the England have a system that is online that is supporting by the grade and the point to say what university you want to go to, what do you need, the entry requirement, everything that you need to know about that specific course or apprenticeship that you will need. So you apply for it through that system. It is a national one, so every student will apply through it, and then they will be directed accordingly to either university, a specific university, or they will be directed to the different apprenticeship available after A-level.
So at what point then do they apply for the student loan? Is that when you've been given the place, or when you apply for the place? At what point?
They will have to start as soon as they will have their. So we apply for the university at the same time. It's a quick process if they go through the UCAS, because when they go through the UCAS in year 13, so the year before, the year during their exam, they will do it with the support of the educator that will be around them. So they're not going to do it by themselves. Your children will do it with the school, so they will be with their tutor. They will, because the tutor need to make a reference as well. So through the UCAS as well, they will apply as well for the funding for the university. So they will have to give what will fund their degree or what the course that they want to do. If you have that element of fee, they have to say the international student, or if they're considered as a UK student, because the price will be different. So through the year 13, they will have to do that. At the end of the year 13, when they pass the exam, normally what will happen is they will already have the acceptance of how they will fund their course. each course they will have acceptance about the course according to how much the parents will put on, or the financial status of the family.
Yeah.
Knowing that the prices, the average prices of a year at the university in the UK is around £8,000
For a UK,
for 1 year.
UK national.
Yes, for a UK national.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is for 1 year. And then every year you pay the same. So depending on, like we see, the financial status of the family,
Yeah.
some parents pay half, then there will be loan that will be then repay once the person find a job. Not at the end of the university, the degree or the master is when your child will secure a job.
Yeah.
And they will usually is even a year after. They're really flexible in terms of the repayment of the loan.
Right.
So
So that student loan, what does it cover? Does it cover the living costs?
depending on university, sometimes depending, because each university have their price. Like I said at the start, depending on the top university, or if it's just is a university that is not as have the high standing on recognition,
Yeah.
they will have different pricing per year, and as well
Yeah.
depending on what subject. Like if you go to biosciences, that the price of the year would be much higher than if you go to business.
Yeah.
So depending on that, you will have different prices. So the university will say, according to that one, either you apply for just the course, because or you can apply for, they will the UCAS only give you the price for the loan for the course.
Okay.
Then you will have to apply for a loan for the living costs, because not everybody will have the living costs.
Yes.
Some students will not move. So if one of our children go to Warwick University,
Or
they are
Coventry
local, so
University.
they're not need, even Birmingham, they don't need to
Yeah.
leave their house. So
Yeah.
the tuition, only the tuition, so the fees will be toward the cost of the program that or study that your child will be. Then there will be loan, there's the student loan for that focus on the living costs, the living costs
All right.
as well. That then is applied afterward, but that usually they're supporting as well by university. Each university have different, they work with different financial organization that support. So if I remember well, for example, Warwick and Coventry University, or even Birmingham, work well with Barclays.
Okay.
So you will have a loan through Barclays. It's a loan at 0%, so you don't have any interest onto it.
Okay.
You have some costs will allow you to have a bursary that can go through the living costs, depending on the level of bursary that you can receive for that course.
And those the health related courses, the ones that get bursaries.
They can. They're health related. So it's always those courses where we have a lack of work. When you apply, when you support your child through the university, obviously you will learn throughout. But the first year, you can apply for a student accommodation if your child is not going to be living at home. But it's only that first year that is providing as accommodation in campus. But you would still have to pay the rent and everything. Obviously it is less is to support the parents with the first time that the children go away. And there is secure, usually is a secure building at the university campus, so they are quite organized and secure, and they give us a peace of mind as parents. You will need to have a guarantor, so another person that will put themselves garant in case that there will be some issue with payments of the rent.
Is that for the second year?
For the first year.
For the first year, you need
And you will have as well for any other year. The second year, you will need to move out of the student accommodation and find yourself another place to live. Yeah, and that is a real life event where you will have to go through providing cost of living, living with people, different people. So it's just another learning curve that the parents will have to support the children after.
And I guess at that point now the child has learned the area. So if they've gone out for the first year, they've now learned that area. They know how to navigate around the place.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
One of the key I will say to the parents, one of the advice that I will think and not to apply is to teach your child, mainly after GCSE, sixth form is good, financial to be financially educated. So know how to pay bills, understand how to make shoppings, understand how to save money. Obviously, yes, search for a job and have them if they're working. I know most of African parents do it, but for everybody is if your child is working, ask your child to participate to the cost of living of the household. It is a very good learning curve. So you don't need to give his all pay, but teaching him how to pay, just like pay the heating or pay for the electricity, the internet, all those little bills will really support them on the long term and not having to be surprised when they leave for university. Mainly the shopping. Lots of them don't know how to shop or the basic of grocery.
And cooking as well.
Yeah.
Because they have to now start cooking for themselves because they can't be having takeaway every single day.
So yeah, one of as well that we have seen are our youngster going to university is a lot of them here because they are isolated from their parents. Then here there's two elements that you need to. There is like going through having an impact on the mental health of our kids. So do not neglect it or push it away if your child stop talking or if you see a change in their behavior. Ask them questions, support them, because there's a lot in terms of how they develop as adults. Is even harder here. We know it as an adult with no family around. So it will be difficult for our children going to university. So well supporting, and again, no stigma, not saying that Black people don't go through mental health or don't go through depression. No stigma.
Another topic.
No stigma, but support our kids to do to ensure that they are well in when they go to university. That they come back often. Christian parents, get in touch, encourage your child to get in touch to a church that they would like to go to. Just carry on being parents to them. I think, as we said at the start, when they're moving to secondary school, they build their character, so they want to be different. So there's a lot of things that they're going to hide from us. And we have to accept it, not to be too invasive, and allow them to have the area of making mistakes.
So they
But
can
always
grow.
living, because if you build your house, like we say, on solid ground, but leaving them with that benefits that they can come back, and that is the place of safety. So even when they go after to university, it's the same. We have lots of students that I know have started the first year, the second year, then they didn't like it, or that they start struggling. They felt the pressure of home. They felt the pressure of the uni. They couldn't cope, and then they don't know what to do. So if we still allow them to come back and to say, just take a break. University is a life education. I'm still going to uni. Still going to uni, even like after having so many years in education. So university is a life learning. It's not all 3 years like when they're in secondary school. So they can take a break, breathe, search themselves, go have a job, stay around your parents to settle a little bit more, and go back to university, or sometimes even find a job that will find you and send you to do courses at the university that they will be willing to pay for. So there's always lots of journeys. So as parents, really encouraging mom there to be present and to accept as well how the children developed.
We were discussing something about overparenting. Michelle Obama calls it helicopter parenting, where we are so much in the kids.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah. We are so involved in their lives that they don't know how to do things for themselves. So that now when they go to university, they're like, okay, what do I do? So we need to balance that thing of, giving them independence, step back a little bit, but still talk to them, encourage them to, come to you and ask you questions. Give them independence, but still be in their life.
That's
we need to balance that.
We have
bit.
to have a lot of parents like this. I keep reminding them, you are not your kids. That is not you. And how many of us say, oh, when I was young,
yes.
Yes, but the context was totally different. So having they are working in a different context in terms of the settings. So they're in a different country than we are, in terms of how the world are changing.
Yeah.
They have a different understanding and intelligence about it. And sometimes as parents, and it's normal as parents and as adults as well, we always think that the younger don't know nothing. We know it all.
Yeah.
Because we have that time.
Different
age different. But they have a lot to teach us as well. So if we accept that our kids are not us, however, we have something to transmit to them, not something to be with them for. So there are a continuity. They're not there to replace us.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not because you didn't go to uni that your kids have to go for, because
they have to live your life.
You have to live through them.
Yes.
No, it's not because you didn't go to prom. Your kids have to go to prom.
Yeah.
No, you have to accept that they have their own identity.
Yeah.
Obviously, we as parents and loving loving mom, the best version of themselves. So we have the privilege as mom to see the future for your child.
Yeah.
And I don't say to lower them, but I say to direct them on their own term, to walk with them, to not go ahead and say, oh, I have seen this problem, so you're not going to this university, you're not doing these courses, I don't like this person.
Yeah, I want you to be a doctor.
Yeah. I saw you as a doctor.
Yeah.
If we have that prophecy,
something else.
If you have that prophecy, let it be, will come to pass by faith.
Yes.
Maybe not now. Maybe you're gonna go through the electrician, and then you find himself working in electricity in a hospital. Then you have an epiphany, and you want to become a doctor. And then 10 years from that, it started.
Yeah.
So the journey is individual, but as parents, as mom, we are there. We know our kids. We are there to love them, to cherish them, and to encourage them to be the best that they can be by themselves, not as we say as helicopter, as you think of.
Yeah. What about the gap years?
So if one of your kids say, Mom, I'm going to take a gap year, breathe.
Don't have a heart attack. It's okay.
Because gap year have that negative notion that is they're not doing nothing. They decided to stop their life, to stay at home, play video game all day. But gap years, if you are, as everything, if you're well educated of what does a gap year involve, you can support your child a lot. So gap year, they can work.
Yeah.
And they can have life experience, so they can grow abroad. There is missionary gap years where some charity as some of your kids, if they want to come abroad, a missionary, be on the houses, go and do some teach English in some of the countries. Travel, really important to encourage your child, I think, to see the world for themselves and to experience the world at the right time. So I think moms, all of us, will know if that is good for a certain child and not the other. if your child come to you and say, yes, I would like, I don't know what to do, you take a step back and say, okay, you're gonna, if you know university, nothing, that's fine.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Well, let's say that we do a gap year. However, have a plan.
Yeah.
Do not just ask your child coming. I know that it will. It seems lovely to say gap year, but they need to plan.
Yeah.
What are you going to do
in the gap year?
in that gap year?
Yeah.
That because it's always to better themselves. Anything to better themselves, so they're not starting at minus. Because after, if a child is not going to at the end of a study, A-level or end of any course, don't do anything for the first 3 to 6 months, he lose all his learning, and he loses his capacity to perform as well as he used to be.
Yeah.
So it's like he's going back nearly a year from where he started. So and it become harder. So then they become disheartened to education and don't want to really continue.
So how does this gap year work? So for example, you've taken a gap year. Then in terms, if you want to go to uni the next year, how does
you just apply the same way that you will do in if you are continuing with your study. So if you take a gap year at the end of year 12, like I said to you, year 13, that's where you start at the beginning of year 13 to apply for your university. So at the beginning of the year, or mainly for them at the end of the academic year. So if they take a gap year, let's say he start his gap year this year 2024, 2025, if you wanted to start in September 2025, he do all his experience work whoever doing. So starting April 2026, because you want to start university in 2026, so September. So April, he start going through the UCAS program again and start applying from there. So he will have to provide his previous study, so his A-level will be there, and the same process will go. He will have to write down a letter of motivation to say what he did during that year, what was his interest and everything, and apply the same way than a student that just come out on the same year. So it's not, university is never too late. Like we can apply for university after 4 years, 5 years. I went back to university after 10 years, 11 years in a sector. So it is always one of the advantage in this country. It's not a linear, it's not straightforward. You can always learn and always better yourself.
That's the good thing, And also that's really good to have so many options to choose from. You either go apprenticeship, university, or college, vocation, so many things to choose from. Wow, so that's been really, really, really educating.
So your question was really, really nice.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And I really hope that a lot of parents have been informed about how to just continue to do what they do. Best moms is to love the child, and through education. So
thank you so much. Any last piece of advice?
From no pressure. There's nobody better than you moms to support your child. There is no mistake. There is never no competition. There's don't pressure yourself to think about your neighbor or your friends, what they did, or they went to university, they become a doctor. There's no, my mom always said, there's no small jobs. The only thing that matters is that your child is happy and they do what they want to do. They do it to the best of their ability and they do it well. That's the only thing that matters.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lidie.
Thank you, Leah, for inviting me. It was lovely to be with you.
Thank you so much. You tell them to subscribe.
Yes,
don't forget to subscribe.
There is more coming.
Yes.
As you can see, I really, really enjoyed this time. So, yes, don't forget to press the button subscribe.
And hit that notification bell
as well.
Ciao. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you for watching Simply Moms podcast, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Ding, 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 ding. so you don't miss any of our episodes. Until next time,